everyone, today's video is about when you're sick but they think you're pranking them. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And let's get going. You woke up feeling like you had been hit by a truck. Your head was pounding, and your throat felt like sandpaper. Your body was alternating between chills and sweats. You groaned, pulling the blanket tighter around yourself. Today was not going to be a good day for you. Hey babe, get up. Bakugo's voice cut through the fog in your brain. You cracked an eye open to see him standing at the foot of the bed, already dressed in his hero gear. Kirishima was leaning against the doorway, his signature grin plastered across his face. Yeah, come on, sleepyhead. We've got training ahead today. Kirishima added, his voice as cheerful as always. You groaned again. This time louder. I don't feel so good. You croaked, your voice barely above a whisper. Bakugo raised an eyebrow, crossing his arms over his chest. Yeah, right. Nice try. But you're not getting out of training that easily. Kirishima chuckled, walking over to the bed and poking your cheek. You're such a prankster. Come on, get up. You shook your head weakly, sitting up slightly. I'm serious, guys. I feel like crap. Bakugo rolled his eyes, clearly not buying it. You're always pulling some kind of stunt. Last week it was the fake spider, and the week before that, it was the I lost my quirk thing. Not falling for it again. You frowned, feeling a wave of frustration wash over you. I'm not pranking you this time. I'm really sick. Kirishima tilted his head, his grin faltering slightly. You do look a little pale. She's fine. Baku interrupted, grabbing your arm and pulling you out of bed. Come on, let's go. You stumbled as your feet hit the floor, your head spinning. Katsuki, I'm serious. Yeah, he said, already dragging you toward the door. Save it for when we get to the gym. Kirishima followed behind, still looking a bit unsure. Maybe we should. She's fine, Ichiro. Bakugo snapped, cutting him off. She's just trying to get out of training. You sighed, knowing there was no point in arguing. You let Bakugo drag you to the gym, your body feeling heavier with every step. By the time you got there, you were sweating profusely, and your vision was starting to blur. Alright, let's get this started, Bakugo said, releasing your arm and walking over to the weights. Kirishima hesitated, watching you closely. Are you sure you're okay? You nodded weakly, not trusting yourself to speak. You leaned against the wall, trying to steady yourself as Bakugo started his usual routine. Kirishima joined him after a moment, although he kept glancing over at you, his brow furrowed in concern. After a few moments, you couldn't take it anymore. Your legs gave out, and you slid down the wall, landing in a heap on the floor. Lion, Kirishima shouted, dropping the weights and rushing over to you. Bakugo followed close behind, his expression unreadable. I told you I was sick, he murmured, your voice barely audible. Kirishima presses a hand to your forehead, his eyes widening. She's burning up. Bakugo frowned, kneeling down beside you. Let me see. He placed his hand on your forehead, his scowl deepening. Damn it. You really are sick. I told you. You said weakly, your eyes fluttering shut. Kirishima looked at Bakugo, his expression a mix of worry and frustration. We should have just listened to her, man. Bakugo sighed, running a hand through his hair. Yeah, I know. Let's get her back to the dorm. Kirishima nodded, carefully scooping you up into his arms. You leaned your head against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. Bakugo walked beside you, his usual scowl replaced with a look of concern. When you get back to the dorm, Kirishima laid you down on the couch, tucking a blanket around you. Bakugo disappeared into the kitchen, returning a moment later with a glass of water and some medicine. Here, he said, handing you the pills. Take these. You did as you were told, swallowing the medicine with a sip of water. Kirishima sat down beside you, brushing a strand of hair away from your face. I'm sorry we didn't believe you, he said softly. We should have listened. You managed a small smile, your eyes already starting to feel heavy. It's okay. I know I prank you guys a lot. Bakugo sat down on your other side, his hand resting on your leg. Yeah, well, maybe we'll believe you next time. You chuckled weakly, your eyes closing. I'll hold you to that. Kirishima leans down, pressing a kiss to your forehead. Get some rest, okay? And we'll take care of you. You don't have to worry. Bakugo grunted in agreement, his hand giving your leg a reassuring squeeze. Yes, just don't get used to it. You smiled, feeling a wave of warmth spread through you. It was not from the fever, but from the two of them. With your two lovers by your side, you knew you'd be okay. And so you began drifting into sleep, and you couldn't help but feel grateful for the two fiery hearts that loved you so fiercely. As you drifted in and out of sleep, you could hear Bakugo and Kirishima quietly bickering in the background. I told you she looked pale, man, Kirishima whispered, although his voice carried enough for you to hear. We should have checked before dragging her to the gym. Shut it, Chidier, Bakugo grumbled, though there was no real bite to his words. I didn't see you stopping me either. Kirishima sighed, and he felt the couch dip slightly as he sat back down beside you. Still, we should have known better. She is not the type to fake being sick just enough to skip training. Bakugo didn't respond, but you felt his hand brush against your forehead again. His touch surprisingly gentle. Her fever's still high, he muttered more to himself than to Kirishima. We should keep an eye on it. Kirishima nodded, his fingers intertwining with yours. Yes, we'll take turns. You go grab some more water and a cold compress. I'll stay with her. Bakugo hesitated for a moment, as if he wanted to argue, but then he stood up without a word. He heard his footsteps fade into the kitchen. Kirishima leaned closer. Don't worry, Mayan. We've got you. Just focus on resting, okay? He managed a small nod, too exhausted to respond. A few minutes later, Bakugo returned, placing a cold compress on your forehead and setting a fresh glass of water on the table. He sat down on the floor beside the couch, his back against it, and let out a long sigh. You're such a pain, he muttered, although his tone was softer than usual. But get better soon, alright? He smiled faintly, your eyes still closed, but even in his gruff way, Bakugo's concern was touching. Yeah, what he said, Kirishima added. We'll be here when you wake up. And with that, you finally let yourself fully relax, surrounded by the two people who, despite their occasional stubbornness, loved you more than anything. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and goodbye.